Hello and welcome to Betfred's Football Show. But, well, we start with disappointment because as we record this right now on Thursday lunchtime, we know that Liverpool-Leeds is off. That was the 12:30 kickoff live on BT. Wolves and Watford's just been called off as well. That was 12:30 kickoff. Paul Parker is alongside me and, well, it looks like it's happening. The football programme is about to be decimated.
Yeah, it seems that way, and I think it's an easy one now. I just believe that it's being used as a way of clubs saying we're going to try and get a little bit of a winter break here. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Really?
I think so in certain ways. That it's being
because
used.
we know after that Premier League meeting, if they've got 14 players, including under-21s and a goalkeeper, they should be playing. The squads with under-21s, so, you know, all we can guess is it must be a huge outbreak at Leeds.
Well, it'd be interesting if it is a huge outbreak, then when they play their next game, do they play the next game? Do they miss the next game? If it's that huge, they won't be playing in the game after, will they? You know, which is going to be around the 30th or the 1st of January, or they won't be playing in those games, the next games.
Well, yeah, they're due to play again on the 28th, aren't they? So, yeah, and then obviously on New Year's Day. Yeah. So, you think there should be some clarity and openness now?
Yeah, I think there should be, and I think the Premier League should just turn around and say your fixtures there. If you want to forfeit the game, it will cost you your points. You lose the game 3-0 if you want to call it off. If you feel you need to call it off, it's desperate, forfeit the game. You know, don't just allow people to let it go easy, because there's people who have booked hotels, people have set things out for that game of football. Hotels now are saying they want 48 hours notice, so they've realised that they can keep money or get money from people by going 48 hours from 24 hours. So it's the fans who are losing out.
So you think that should really be the tough stance now, should it?
There should be. We're talking Premier League clubs now, because everything's about Premier League. If the Premier League don't like it, everyone else has to suffer. So everyone else is going to suffer because of the Premier League. So I'm saying those clubs have got enough players because they've got more than enough money. They've got enough players within that squad, 40-odd players they could go to use. They should be allowed, if players aren't registered, they should be allowed to register them because of the circumstances, and they play that game. It gives the young players the opportunity then to step up a little bit, and then clubs will then find out for their progression, and the clubs, if they're going to be good enough. But it's the fans who are missing out.
So for you, it's an element of keeping the show on the road?
Yeah, keep it going. We've been through a little bit of it. Premier League said they want to keep it going. They had the opportunity to stop it and try and do something. Clubs are moaning about fixtures. The only clubs moaning are Premier League clubs again, moaning about fixtures. They're delaying the fixtures, and they'll be moaning then about having too many games. So get the game out of the way, simple as that.
Look, just take COVID out of it at the moment,
yeah,
which I know is impossible because obviously it's what everyone's talking about. But every year we have this debate about the festive fixtures, and you played them. I mean, it's part of the English game, isn't it?
It is. It's, I heard the word used, culture. It's something we've always done. People can moan about it, but people set their Christmas holidays around a game of football on Boxing Day and then the game after. Sometimes it makes teams' seasons better, because they get that bit and they prepare themselves in the right way to go from a poor time to a better time. There's so many swings and roundabouts. I just think it's a great time for football. If you're going, or you're just watching it on TV, or you're looking at the results, I think it's a great time. You know, long may it continue.
I mean, back to your playing days, you wanted to play in all of them as well, didn't you? Because big crowds, good atmosphere.
Everything that went with it. The atmosphere was a massive thing when you played your home games, especially if it was, generally then it was kind of more derby games, you know, in that sense. Teams were closer together. So for big games, you wanted to play them, and then if you win that game, you wanted that 2 days to come around so quick, because you wanted the next one. To win your first 2 games is incredible. If you lose your first game, you want the next one as quick as possible to put that last one to bed.
So as we record this, we've lost Liverpool versus Leeds and Wolves versus Watford, but I'm afraid they're not going to be the only cancellations on Boxing Day. And as Parks mentions, there's games on the 28th, and then there's games around the new year. I'm afraid it's going to end up a decimated fixture list because of COVID-19. Let's just talk about some games that did happen last night and have thrown up a cracking draw for the Carabao Cup. And Liverpool versus Arsenal and Spurs versus Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, it's come around. I mean, Conte comes to mind straight away. I mean, he's the one who's rejuvenated, he's organised, and he's made Spurs more of a team rather than, the way it was with Mourinho, because they were broken. And all of a sudden, the same players, 100% the same players, are performing a little bit better. Even Harry Kane's having a bit of a go now as well. So they definitely have improved. Are they the finished article for Conte? Nowhere near that at this moment, what he's looking for. But at least he's taken an embarrassing moments for them, which they had previously.
Who do you fancy to win it then? Any of those four, couldn't it?
It could be. I mean, I think you have to look at Liverpool.
Good fight back.
It was, and I don't think anyone can be surprised by that. 68 minutes gone, Leicester 3-1 up. Liverpool to score two, to come back and score two. Another 5 minutes, they mostly would have got a third, I think. A fourth, I should say, to go and win it. But no, I don't think that surprised anyone. Certainly didn't surprise me, them coming back from a 2-goal deficit.
Let's talk about some of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and I hate to be boring, but fingers crossed we get them. Burnley, Everton, and just looking at this, I mean, Burnley already have played 3 games less than Leeds, 2 less than Southampton and Everton or whatever. We could end up with teams playing a lot less in this, relegation battle and the race for top 4. Burnley, Everton, how do you see it?
I think you have to. I mean, I would look at that game, and given how I've seen Everton just of late, really, for some reason, I've just got a thing about Sean Dyche and Burnley. I think they can just get themselves out of it. The thing about Burnley is that we know one thing is that Sean Dyche is going to want to play that game. He isn't going to want to think we're having a bad time. Let's just have a little bit of a break, because he knows he does not want to be in that bottom 3, sitting there and looking at games and hands thinking, if we win all of them, we're okay, because it's not that easy. I've been there, and it doesn't work out that way. It looks good in theory, but it never materialises that way, because you're playing so many games, and if it goes wrong, you lose players mentally because they start seeing the worst. You lose some physically because they're feeling it and they can't play. He's going to want to play this game, especially against Everton, when he sees that one as winnable.
So what score would you go for?
I would look for Burnley maybe to win, because they're struggling to score goals as well, by the way, Everton. 2-0 Burnley.
2-0 Burnley. And Man City, Leicester. Well, City, Christmas number 1 once again. Look, I think it's become a 2-horse race now, City, Liverpool. But yeah, look, City at 3's on. City look brilliant at the moment. They
do. I mean, we have to mention, which everyone mentions, they are lacking a centre forward, an out-and-out goal scorer. But all the great sides over the years that have won Premier Leagues haven't relied on out-and-out strikers. Out-and-out strikers do not win your leagues. Teams win your league. Teams that got goals coming from all over the place win your league titles, and Man City have got that.
You fancy him against Leicester? I know they got beat at Leicester early on in the season, but you'd fancy him against home to Leicester, wouldn't you?
I would do, given how Leicester are when it comes to the bigger games, to be perfectly honest. They seem to kind of peter out, don't they, when it matters, like they did last night.
Norwich, Arsenal. Have Arsenal turned a corner? I mean, they've been 4th now after an awful start.
Yeah, everyone says that. When Arsenal win a game, it must be something. They should get that on their badge. Win a game, I think we've turned a corner. They should do something like that. Because you just don't know. There's another game to come. Listen, if they lose their main 2 young players, more so Smith Rowe than Saka, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They lose something. They've lost an edge, which is embarrassing to say of a club of Arsenal's stature. They're reliant on young players when they've got so many experienced players who haven't been cutting it.
You mentioned them early on, Tottenham versus Palace. This is a very different Spurs, isn't it?
It's a different Spurs. I mean,
what do you think he's done then?
I just think he's told people the truth. And if you're not going to do what I do, then you're not going to play games of football. And a few egos have got a little bit.
And you played in dressing rooms where the truth was told, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Roy Keane.
Yeah,
Brian Robson.
They come out and told you as a player, and if you didn't conform with your teammates, you were
England, Terry Butcher.
Yeah, you was in trouble. Because at the end of the day, you're judged by the people you play with, because they will go around and talk to other people, and there's more chance of people believing players rather than a manager, because the manager can always be bitter. But I think Conte has done his bit. I don't know who the strong person is at Spurs. I don't think they've got that. Maybe Lloris at the best, but certain players have pulled their socks up. The man in the match last night was Lloris. That tells you that it wasn't all Tottenham. I watched the game and I totally agree that it wasn't all Tottenham. West Ham, still missing players. They have someone on the pitch who's likely to score a goal. They might be sitting there in the semi-finals now.
And you're at West Ham versus Southampton?
I'm there on Well, I'm hoping I'm going to be there and the game goes ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. West Ham look like they've got a few coming back now. It's a game that West Ham be expected to win, and which they should win. If they don't win, then I think we might just see a little bit of West Ham of old. Win the big games, but not winning the games that matter.
Aston Villa Chelsea's a 5:30. I just wonder, Chelsea just stuttering a bit here now, and Villa obviously doing great things now under Steven Gerrard.
I got a feeling that Villa are going to get something from this game. They talk about an influence of a new manager, what he can make. Steven Gerrard's got more than that because he's got a presence. Everyone respects him as a footballer, and I think he's walked in that dressing room respected, and I think he walked out the dressing room after his first team talk even more respected. Just by the performances and the results, you just see that they've got more about him. He's getting more from the players. It's a modern day footballer. They need change after a while. The same face, the same voice, they get affected. I think Gerrard's coming now, a new voice, a stronger voice, but a stronger voice in the sense of he's got a great career behind him, but he's not just talking about his career. He's actually looking and maybe talking to people in that dressing room about their career and how they can take it forward.
8 o'clock kick-off, Brighton, Brentford. Brighton got off to that great start, but been faltering of late.
Yeah, and they've lost a lot of players. They initially were trying to talk about them having COVID. They didn't moan about it, they got on with it. I was at Brighton Wolves. I'm quite sure that the manager mostly wished he could have moaned about it because I watched them against Wolves. Again, it was typical Brighton, a lot of the ball. Didn't have a goal scorer on the pitch. Mopai wasn't playing. I don't know why he wasn't playing, but even though he's missed a lot of goals, he's still their main person. He's the one who causes a threat because he can score all kinds of goals, but they had no edge. And Wolves, worthy winners 1-0. Wolves have improved. They've improved. I saw them play against West Ham a few weeks back, and they've moved on from that 1-0 win at home.
It's that time of year you've got no idea what day it is. Monday night is Newcastle versus Manchester United. Well, we've not really learnt a lot about Manchester United, have we? Because of the last two games being called off against Brighton and Brentford. But what have you made of Manchester United under Ralph Rangnick so far?
Like you said at the top of it, nothing's really changed. Still don't know. Got this system, this 4-2-2-2, which no one really knows a lot about. Southampton have been doing it from day one with their present manager. No one's made a big song and dance about that, so I'm not going to make a big song and dance about what he's trying to do there. I saw him play it in the last game. Sancho was playing tucked in on the right-hand side. Fernandes was trying to move from inside to wide left, just to cross the ball. I didn't really get it. You can see already that he doesn't want to play. Looks like Luke Shaw's out of favour, more Teles. He's gone with Dello rather than Wan-Bissaka, but you need energy and maybe quality. If you're going to do that, they're going to be the ones, the fullbacks, pushing on in wide areas, so you don't need Sancho. Ronaldo up top with Rashford. If you're going to play that system, you might have. If you've got Ronaldo in your club, I think you need him on the pitch to get the press off your back and maybe the fans. But you need someone to play with him, a little bit more intelligent. So I think I look at a Cavani or a Mason Greenwood to play with Ronaldo rather than a Marcus Rashford who's way off track. Should be sitting down somewhere and people ask him what's he want to be, a footballer or a politician, and then go from there and just to see that he grabs hold of it and becomes what he's supposed to be.
Do you think he's not fit enough at the moment? Is that one of the issues?
No, I don't think it's anything to do with fitness. I think footballers are definitely fit. They train every day, they're stretching, they're agile, everything about them is fine. I just think it's about what's in your head now. And he needs to, does he want to play for the biggest club in the world regularly, or does he want to watch them? At the moment, he's playing like someone who's trying his best to watch them play, but he keeps on getting picked. And after a while, a few players are going to get a little bit annoyed that not playing well, not earning the right to play, but still playing. Why are you playing? They're the questions that players will ask.
What about at the back? I mean, there's some huge questions about Manchester United at the back this season. Have you seen an improvement under the new interim boss at the back?
Not really. They're still being got at. David De Gea's still having to work hard, still working hard to maybe...
brilliant against Norwich, wasn't he?
He's still working hard to maybe become Player of the Year again. I think it'll be the fourth time if he gets it, which is ridiculous. So it's not right at the back. Still not right. But you've got to get the midfield right as well. Get the midfield right. Maybe not playing 2 holding players still. That hasn't changed. That's still in the same way. You can't do it. United will not become a force until they learn to keep the ball in midfield. Retain the ball allows you then to keep teams under pressure, as Liverpool do when they get the ball, as Chelsea do, as Manchester City do as well. They keep the ball and they keep teams under constant pressure, not trying to play smash and grab.
Right, it's Christmas then. Let's have some predictions for 2022. Who wins the league?
I'm going to say I was going with Chelsea. Chelsea have fallen a little bit away from it. I think they're still going to compete. They need to find out, are they going to be a good side, with Lukaku, or a better side without him?
So who's going to win the league? You've avoided a question.
Did I? Oh, sorry, that's political talk there. Yeah. I'm going to go with Manchester City.
And the top 4, Man City, who's going to join them?
Liverpool, Chelsea. I'm going to go because he's managing that club now. I'm going to go with Conte.
Okay. And who's going to get relegated?
Relegation's getting harder and harder now, isn't it? I'm still going to stick with Norwich. Norwich have been the favourites from the top. I don't know, it's quite ugly down there, isn't it? Newcastle.
Yeah. You've got Burnley down there. Leeds are 5 points clear. Watford are just 2 points clear of Burnley.
I'm going to go with Watford. They're the ones who
Watford, Newcastle, Norwich. Yeah. Parks, all the best for 2022. And let's hope we're not talking about loads of fixture postponements next time I see you. But just quickly, you think if there's 14 players and the goalkeeper, they should be playing these matches?
They've got to be playing. There's no reason not to play these matches.
OK, thanks very much for joining us. And look, we're disappointed about the matches being off. We're disappointed about, obviously, what's going on in the world right now. But please, have the best Christmas you can and all the best for 2022.